The Goffs November sale is nearly upon us. 5 days featuring some outstanding bloodstock. Henry Beeby alongside me. Henry, what does the 5 days entail?
Well, we have a lot of the best. We have 3 days of our Part 1 foals, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We then move on to some very good breeding stock. Then we have a Part 2 breeding stock and then our Part 2 foals. So it sort of encompasses all ends of the market. We're right at the top. We have some very commercially bred horses as well. So there's something for everybody. It sort of works for the whole of the industry, and it's a very exciting few days.
What sort of work goes into preparing for a sale like that?
Well, a lot of work really from a lot of people. We get on the farms in the summer to go and look at the foals and chat to the breeders about their foals, whether they're thinking of selling as foals or keeping the progeny until yearlings. Then when they're thinking of selling the foals, we obviously want to persuade them to come to Goffs in the first instance. And then when they've decided they'd like to come to Goffs, or we've persuaded them to come to Goffs, they've made their mind up, then we need to find the right day, because we grade the foals. Part 1 is, for want of a better phrase, on a rising tide. So Monday, Tuesday gets slightly better, Wednesday gets slightly better, certainly on average. That's not to say the best racehorse comes from any particular session, but it's graded. So the average on the first day will be 25,000, something like that. On the second day it'll be more like 35, 40, and on the third day it'll be 75, 80, something like that. And the top price traditionally and normally comes from the third day. We then move into the breeding stock, and the work that goes into the breeding stock is twofold really. First of all, fillies off the track. We've got a great track record at Goffs down the years of selling really good race mares and race fillies. So we track them through the season. We probably, we're on the phone a lot. We're looking to see what's won, and then talk to people as, diplomatically, but as proactively as we can to say, it's a really nice filly, would you like to sell her? And if they do, then obviously work out how we promote that filly. And also then the mares in foal, we're looking at stallions that are going well, that mares who have had an upgrade in their pedigree because one of their progeny or a half brother or sister might have won a good race, and track those and speak to breeders. That's probably the tougher part, because we know what foals are out there, and same as we know the yearlings before the yearling sales. But in terms of fillies off the track and broodmares, we don't know when people want to sell them. So it's a question of working out, who we can approach, when's the best time to approach them. And we have a great team who does all that, and it takes a lot of organisation, and it culminates in a really strong catalogue of arguably Ireland's best.
Let's just focus on the foal sale for a moment and the catalogue. Some of the potential stars for you?
Well, headed, I would suggest, by the own brother to Gaiath, by Dubawi out of the classic winning Nighttime, Galileo's first classic winner. Gaiath made 1.1 million, which was the record for a colt foal here, beat the previous record of See the Stars colt from his first crop, who made 850,000. That was Gaiath, and he's gone on to be a top-class racehorse, Group 1 winner by 14 lengths earlier this season, which meant that he was rated second only in the world to Enable at the time. So he'd have to be a standout. We've siblings to Threat, to Just the Judge, to Sea of Class, and to Don Juan Triumphant. So it's a very, very strong catalogue. All the right stallions are there. There's Dark Angels, there's See the Stars, there's obviously the Dubawi, and loads of very top-class horses, Lobo de Vega, Sayuni. It's a really good catalogue, and really what we get happily for Goffs is we get the cream of the Irish foal crop. We've also, quite interestingly, a few Kingmans in there, particularly a Kingman who's sort of swimming against the tide, if you like, coming across from England to be sold, because they recognise the strength of the Goffs November foal sale. So we're really looking forward to. As ever, we've been very, very well supported by Irish breeders. We've a catalogue that appeals to everybody. It's a real pinhooker sale. All the pinhookers come here. They've had great success out of this sale down the years, but also a number of end users. So we travel the globe. We've still to go to make another trip to America. We'll be all over the place in Australia, the Middle East, the Far East, to promote the foals to the biggest audience we can. It's a global sale, and we need everybody to come because we've got the wares to show them.
One of the most exciting aspects of the foal sale for me is always the young sires, the first season sires, and there's quite an exciting list this year.
Oh, that's a great list. I mean, there's always a good list, but there's some very, very good new sires. There's Churchill, there's Caravaggio, there's Decorated Knight, Ribchester, Ulysses, just to name just a few. Probably missed the best one out, but that's not to say that they're not going to be very well received. And, first season sires are always interesting because it's fascinating from the rostrum to look down from the rostrum, look down into the crowd and see the really, really clever pinhookers, the guys who year in, year out buy shrewdly. They give good money, but they make good profit in seeing which stallions they latch onto. That's always one of the interesting facets of the sale, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Let's move on and talk about the breeding stock sale. You touched on it earlier on. It has in the past thrown up some amazing results which you've been privy to be involved with.
Absolutely. I mean, you look at Kew Gardens, you look at Harzand, on British Champions Day, look at Don Juan Triumphant, look at our cover horse Romanized. The dams of all those stars have been sold at the Goffs November mare sale. And so the November breeding stock sale has a wide range of very, very well-bred mares involved with very good stallions. Some big drafts of some major breeders, headed by the likes of our major shareholder, His Highness the Aga Khan studs. We have drafts from Godolphin, from Kiltynan, from Derrinstown, from the Castlebridge consignment. Every year we get some very, very good mares, and it means that it becomes another global sale. People come from all over the world. You know, Irish breeders arguably have the best in the world. So Goffs is able to showcase the cream of the crop every year, and this year is no exception. So we've got a really good bunch.
We always try to sing the virtue of the positives, but surely one of the big selling points is the fact that you have an opportunity to access bloodlines that have belonged to such successful owner breeders in the past.
Well, if you think that the dam of Harzand, the Derby winner for His Highness the Aga Khan, was sold at this very sale. I mean, that speaks for itself. Kew Gardens, Chelsea Rose topped the sale at 450,000 when sold to the Beeby on behalf of Kew Gardens breeders David and Deanne Nagel. And those names are all major breeders, so they're buying and selling the very best, and they're happily for us doing it at Goffs. So we get great support from breeders who choose the Goffs November foal and breeding stock sale for their best, and then the buyers know that they need to be here from start to finish to see some of the best horses you can find at any sale anywhere. And it's a privilege to offer them. It's exciting, and we love watching the progeny afterwards. So when Kew Gardens won on British Champions Day, when Don Juan Triumphant won on British Champions Day, that was exciting for us because we knew what was coming, we knew what had come before. We knew how those breeders had tapped into those families, and it's wonderful for us to be able to offer those kind of horses here at Goffs in November.
Henry, thank you. So all roads lead to the Goffs November sale. 5 great days in prospect.